I had to leave. I had to cut the video short. I couldn't take the fire alarm anymore. So, seam repair. So as much as the seam repair is usually really easy, there's a couple things to keep in mind, especially I'd say here in the Midwest, we're kind of unique as we have a lot of different substrates. People have put this stuff on stucco. People have put wallpaper on regular drywall. We've had wallpaper on mirrors. We've had wallpaper on tile. We've had wallpaper, plaster is another big one, and then just the dry wall board itself. So what the wallpaper is adhered to does make a difference on how the seams can be repaired. Couple factors: we've had some commercial stuff in Schaumburg we did. They asked us to just basically come in and do seam repair. We had a guy in there for a week doing seam repairs. The wallpaper is really old, so sometimes when the wallpaper is really old, I can put I can put a link to that one for a follow-up video. I think I still have it. But the wallpaper is 20 years old and had curled. So literally the paper looked like this. So trying to get that seam back was really, really hard. We actually got it wet. It didn't really work. We got hot water, let it sit. It didn't quite work. So we put glue on there and let the glue sit. And then we got glue on the wall and kind of let it tack up. And basically we almost used like a rolling pin and we rolled it on there, and we had like a drywall tape. And so we used a hair dryer and a drywall knife to kind of come down to get, because it was really hot, and getting that on there so it set and tack up as soon as it hit that. And that actually worked pretty decent. It still wanted to peel up on the edges, but same thing, we took the hair dryer, drywall knife, and put it like right on the wall, got it heated up, and that seemed to work also. So those are a couple tricks that we had for the commercial wallpaper. We were lucky that there was no damage to the wall board. It wasn't peeling off. But that's probably the biggest issue we have was if it's a lot of moisture, bathrooms, high humidity where, say, air conditioning is not being used, but high humidity rooms, you know, the hot, cold here in the Midwest is an issue. High humidity, no humidity. People that use air and don't use air, it really does make a difference. If it's like that the rest of the country, I don't know, but here it's an issue, especially with the bathrooms, no fans. Wallpaper will stand up really, really well, but it can't stand and sit in standing water. It just can't. Even type 2 commercial, that moisture is going to get behind there. So having good exhaust, as long as the walls were prepped correctly, you shouldn't have any issues. But over time, wallpaper is wallpaper, just like paint. Everything will decay at some point. So those are some of the issues that we have with wallpaper and seam repairs. Once it starts going, there's just nothing you can do with it. It has to go. We had I think I mentioned a customer in Huntley that called us. I didn't go look at that one. I should have. I didn't. So sorry if you're listening. But we had one in Algonquin we went and looked at. And that one, they wanted the seams repaired, but the problem was as soon as you touched the wallpaper, it was releasing from the wall. So it had passed the point of seam repair. And believe it or not, that one was smoke damage. The smoking from the room, it was almost like it dried out the wall. You could smell the smoke. It could happen maybe in a house that's not a lot of humidity also. So if there's no humidity where, you know, no temperature control, but that paper, when you lifted it, you could see all the pattern of the original paper. You could smell the smoke when you lifted it, but it's just like it completely dried out. It was almost like, it felt like parchment paper. So that was a different one. I've had that before, but it wasn't quite that bad. So those are some issues that we have. And we'll leave it at that.